Hello, it's your host, and today we'll be talking about Sweden and how it celebrates solstice and equinox.
And I'm Adam Liam Holt. I was born in Sweden and raised in Sweden, so was my family. My mom and dad very Swedish. Today I'll be talking about Walbork and Midsummer, very fun traditions in Sweden.
Midsummer. It all begins in the morning when people pick flowers to use as materials for crowns and for the decoration of Maypole. After that follows the midsummer lunch, which is usually spent with family and friends. Lunch is accompanied by laughter, songs, and lots of alcohol, schnapps in particular. Note that there are always flowers on the table. The afternoon is always active. It's full of folklore music, dancing, and other performances. After that, the pole, which Swedes call the Maypole, is raised and the traditional dance around the pole ensues. Besides that, there are lots of competitive games that are beloved by most families. They range from carrying an egg on a spoon between your teeth and running a certain distance, to running in a sack, to dancing around a sleeping bear at the Maypole and trying to not get caught, to a simple tug of war. Geez, these Swedes, they're hardcore. Well, they were the Vikings. Swimming after the previously mentioned activities is common for families who live near a body of water. The evening is welcomed with a nice barbecue and a strawberry cake. All in all, Midsummer is a joyful festival. People love it because of the frequent dancing, singing, competing, and most importantly, for the food. It is often celebrated with complete strangers, yet that does not stand in the way of having fun, and it eventually brings the feeling of belonging to something bigger. I think the biggest reason Swedes love Midsummer that much is because of the strong feeling of unity they get to experience for this short time. How did these traditions begin there?
As you know, the Vikings celebrated the pagan gods, Frey and Freya, who were fertility gods. So we usually build a maypole, which is supposed to symbolize a penis. And we hold hands and dance around this pole singing childish songs. And we're supposed to represent the vagina. Vikings celebrated these gods in hope to increase the animal population.
The Maypole stands as the most valued, symbolic, and mythological symbol in Sweden. In the past, Swedes used to do human sacrifices. They usually included chickens and goats, but slaves or voluntary people could also be chosen to be sacrificed. It came to stop when they became Christians, but other than that, the rest stayed as it was. So basically, equinox is the day when both the South Pole and the North Pole are completely still and there's an equal amount of sunlight and darkness on that day. As I've learned from my very reliable source and his mom, Swedish people don't really celebrate it. Quote,
We don't really do anything that day. It's just a normal day. We don't get off of school early. We don't really celebrate it. We just kind of know about it. It's like, hey, child, it's equinox. Yeah.
But don't worry, I found another spring holiday that's pretty amusing and even slightly bizarre. Walbork. Walbork originated in Germany, where it was called Walpurgisnacht, and was later introduced in Sweden somewhere in the Middle Ages. The German name of the holiday inspired Swedes to call it Walborg. I would say the huge bonfires created by the Swedes is the most honored value of the holiday. It is said that those bonfires were created in hopes of scaring away witches, demons, and other nasty creatures because it's believed that they are at their strongest on the 1st of May. The way of celebration hasn't changed at all, only the reason has. Instead of trying to scare away witches, demons, and whatnot, the celebration of the holiday is meant to welcome spring.
I heard that Swedes really do love Walbork, and here is the exclusive insight on why.
What? No, we can't. We don't really like Valborg. No one really knows about it. So Valborg is epic. We love Valborg. It was like back in the day, like maybe a little more than 10 years ago, the Vikings were like, "Ooh, plunder village," and then big fire in village, and we were like, "Ooh, fire, cool. We should make this a yearly celebration thing." And to this day, we usually just plunder villages and just ooh, fire. But because of COVID, we usually just pick up a lot of the sticks and throw it into a big pile and then light it on fire.
As for the future of these holidays, I think the lockdown will be a thing for at least a few more years. During that time, they would celebrate Walbork in their own homes by making smaller bonfires. Not enough to burn your home or neighborhood, but just enough to still feel like you're giving it your all. Midsummer, on the other hand, requires socializing with others, so I don't know how to effectively organize an event with social distancing and other safety protocols. In my opinion, if Midsummer is not celebrated with a large crowd of strangers which dance, eat, and compete, it's not Midsummer.